What's happening, Snackcast?
What's going on, man?
Welcome back.
How's everybody doing?
Good. So, we're moving on with minerals. Today, we are talking fluoride.
I got nothing.
Dude, this is
I got controversy is what I got.
I'm totally with you. I got it too. Full disclosure, in my prior career, I had a client,
He cheated.
good size organization.
Did you cheat or did you just use adequate resources?
I leveraged resources.
Sweet.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, he actually owns a manufacturing facility and a trucking company that handles fluoride.
He's not biased at all.
So listen, he's a good man.
I know he's probably a good man. I'm just saying.
So let's start at the top of what is fluoride, right? So number one, all these other minerals have been found on the periodic table. Mm-hmm. Fluoride is not on there.
What does that make it?
It turns out that fluorine is on the periodic table. And fluorine at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius is actually a gas. You have to cool it substantially to get it to liquid form. It's also very volatile, very reactive. There was one video on YouTube where they took all of these different materials and they shot fluorine gas onto the materials. We're talking basic stuff. Cotton balls, and boom, they go into flames. Lump charcoal. Boom, they went into flames.
Why isn't this substance used as fuel?
It's a good question. It may be too volatile. They put a Brillo pad, steel wool.
Well, fluoride is widely available in the earth, is it not? Widely.
Fluorine or fluoride? So the steel wool...
You say tomato, I say tomato, right?
It literally burnt a hole through the steel wool as if a drill bit had gone through.
Okay.
Like within seconds.
One of you chemical engineers out there, please email him at snackcast.com and tell him why.
It's actually snackcast at Yes.Fit.
See? Whatever. Why this can't be used as fuel? I'm interested.
I don't know. So what stabilizes it and turns it into a usable fluoride? It's by combining it with something else. I think most commonly with sodium or something of that. It stabilizes it. It adds whatever, neutrons, protons, whatever, and stabilizes it. So the two main benefits, and this is where the controversy comes in, is does it strengthen the enamel on the teeth and the bones in the body?
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you right now, go do your own homework, because it was a deep enough rabbit hole. I decided not to go down it.
Yeah, the stuff that I read and I watched was talking about how fluoride isn't really the savior of tooth decay, and that the real issue is lack of vitamins and minerals in the teeth, because they said the enamel is very equivalent to steel. I mean, that it just doesn't break down. I mean, from healthy, when an enamel is healthy, it just doesn't break down, right? That's why it's on teeth. It doesn't. So when you have tooth decay, you actually have a symptom of something else that's greater, right? You have bacteria that's forming in your mouth. You have other problems.
Is that possible, though? I mean, because, dude, when I was eating a regular diet, I'd have 1 or 2 cavities a year. Ever since going carnivore/keto, my dentist has actually been like, dude, have you changed the way you eat? Because you don't get any cavities.
Aren't you proving my point? You don't eat sugar. You're proving my point.
Oh, I thought you were talking about some type of internal deficiency.
No, you're talking about sugar that feeds bacteria, and the bacteria breaks down your enamel.
I misunderstood
and or doesn't allow minerals to get into your enamel to produce healthy enamel.
Okay.
So Yeah, you're proving my point. You're like, ever since you went ketogenic, carnivore, you're like, you eat no sugar.
Well, you mentioned earlier, and I wasn't connecting the dots, so I did totally misunderstand.
So it's healthy enamel. When enamel is healthy, it's hard to beat. That's the point, right? So when enamel is able to be broken through, hence a cavity, it's not because of anything on the outside, it's what's on the inside. You're not producing healthy enamel, is
now,
the point.
See, that's the part where you lose me, because it is the sugar on the outside. What am I not
But
connecting?
the sugar on the outside is producing bacteria that limits the growth of healthy enamel.
Okay.
That's where we're going with this.
Green jacket, gold jacket.
Don't eat sugar. Milk used to be a big aspect to that. But what's in milk? Tons of sugar. They were like, don't eat milk before you go to bed, right? Don't drink milk before you go to bed. It coats your teeth. And I'm not so sure about the coating of the teeth garbage. But I am a big camp of maybe that's correct. Maybe it's if you limit your sugar, your carbs, you're not hurting your teeth. Anyway, I digress.
So, moving into the so we are going to kind of transition into, I think, where it's most commonly discussed is as an additive to toothpaste or an additive to the
water, right? Don't they put it in bottled water a ton now too?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, how much of your bottled water is tap water?
City water.
It's filtered tap water, right? So what I did learn was there's three main types that get used in industry and water supply, right? There's FSA, which is also fluorosilicic acid.
Is that like a federal savings account?
Right? They went out of business, did they?
I think so.
What was that in the 80s? The banking, it wasn't
something like that.
Anyways. So then there's sodium fluorosilicate and sodium fluoride.
Okay.
The main difference, the FSA or the fluorosilicic acid is a liquid form. The other two are either powders or pellets, right? And I said, well, what's the difference? And he said, basically, it kind of depends on how sophisticated the end user is. He said, we send a lot of FSA to Miami. He said, you can imagine, Miami's water department is one of the most sophisticated in the country, right? He said, we also ship product to a lot of small towns where the same guy in charge of the water supply is also mowing the grass at the parks. And
Forrest Gump.
He's the do-it-all guy. He said, liquid is, and he said, I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but the phraseology that they use is sophisticated. The liquid goes to the really big plants with all the PhDs and scientists. The granulars or the powders or the tablets, whatever it is, goes to the less sophisticated,
less budgeted.
Right. And he did give a number of of the small places where they don't have the big water departments, I think he said there's over 10,000 in the country.
So why is this added to water?
Well, the argument is that it helps build the enamel, teeth, and bones in children, and it helps adults maintain. That's the two main benefits. He actually said, if I wanted to read up, do a deep dive, check out the American Fluoridation Society. So I would, Google it if you're curious to read some more. But the cool thing is, this goes back to what is our food supply and where is it coming from, and is it GMO or non-GMO or organic? But we can get fluoride from food supplies.
Okay. Do tell.
As you might imagine, seafood, shellfish, right? Because fluoride is naturally found in water. We just add it to boost it.
Was there any going back to the water? You got me just, and you may not know this. I hate to put you on the spot, but Any studies before and after? Like, we had kids in the 30s that were having fluoride deficiencies, and then we started adding it to the water, and then everybody's fine. I mean, where's the studies regarding
I cannot quote a source for you, but yes, I did read where cavity rates went down drastically once we started adding fluoridation to our water supply. I don't know much about it. I'm not an expert, but there is data. Now, is it tainted data or is it good data? I don't know.
Okay.
I ain't got the time nor the willpower to go figure that out, right? But there is data that demonstrates like significant improvement in dental outcomes once added to the water supply.
Okay.
I'm sure there's theories or conspiracy theories that point every direction, left, right, up, and down.
Okay.
So back to the food sources. Seafood, grapes. I don't know why.
That's interesting.
And it said, irregardless of the end product of grape.
You mean your wine?
Wine, raisins.
There's lots of females tipping back a glass right now.
Woo! Fluoride.
Get my fluoride.
But some fruits, apples, peaches, strawberries, and potatoes.
I would have
Believe it or not, right? So what else do I have here? So the whole bone health thing, man. Some of the reports I read, I shouldn't say some. I mainly read one study on PubMed. And this study said that in supplementing fluoride in women, specifically was the group, they saw certain bones strengthen and certain bones weaken. So I kind of say it's the Wild West. And again, apparently it was mainly the wrists that weakened. Like the incidence of wrist fracture went up significantly after supplementing with fluoride. But like hip and leg and whatever other fractures went down drastically. So it's above my pay grade to understand why that would occur. But of all the vitamins and minerals we've done, I think this one is the most like, it's in everything. I mean, literally when you wash your dishes, there's fluoride in the water, right?
Right. Oh, it's everywhere.
But there's not a ton of information out there. That's not like
the death out
very
of me.
polarized.
It scares the death out of me that we're sitting here like pumping fluoride through the system, and it might be completely fine, but it just that ding 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 alarm starts to go off.
The human element, right?
The human element. You know that something's wrong. That we have pumping the water supply, and really there doesn't appear to be a ton of information. What are the lasting effects? Is this stuff good or bad?
Dude, you can Google calcium, magnesium, iron, and there's a million videos on YouTube. You Google fluoride, there was very little.
Oh, and like you immediately go to page 1, and it's like controversy. Well, you're like,
right?
I didn't sign up for this.
Right. I wanted to be educated.
I wanted to be educated. I didn't want to jump into a controversy.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it was like, man, I don't have time for this right now.
Yeah. Take a look, man. It was definitely one of the more unique investigations,
right,
that I did. So
very
that's
cool.
pretty much all I got, man. Very volatile. It's got to be married with another element to stabilize it.
You know, in part of this, I want to go back, and after we're done with our vitamins and minerals, I actually think it'd be kind of cool to go back by illness and or condition and start reversing the role of vitamins and mineral deficiencies and what you can do. So we talked about, all right, you suffer from acid reflux. All right, you suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. All right, you suffer from this or that. And that'd be kind of a neat way.
Help people make those connections.
I think that'd be kind of a cool reverse the order. We went vitamins and minerals can lead to these deficiencies, and these create these illnesses. We should go, these illnesses have these holes.
I like that. That'd be cool.
Kind of neat, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Questions, comments, concerns, hit us at snackcast@yes.fit.
Stay moving over the weekend.
See ya.